Good morning or afternoon, everyone. My name is Jeremy Walsh, and I am the Director of Support, Training, and Documentation for BNI Connect. I would like to welcome everybody to the webinar. Today's webinar is on the social media part of BNI Connect, so the connections, the groups, the testimonials. Basically, how do we interact with other people in BNI Connect that might even be outside of our chapter. We're going to go through all of that stuff today. A couple of housekeeping things before we get started with today's content, and that is that this is a live webinar. So that means that if you have any questions as we're going through any of the content today, please do feel free to ask those questions. And I'd like to also welcome back Sumitra, who was on yesterday's webinar from India. I know it's very late there, so thank you so much for joining us today. The best way to ask questions, by the way, is to just type those questions into the questions panel, just like Sumitra did, and I'll be able to see those pop up on my screen and answer them as we're going through. So today's webinar is set for about 30 minutes or so worth of content. That being said, I am always happy to stay on these webinars as long as people have questions. So feel free to ask as many questions as you would like, and I will stay here until they are all answered. The webinar is being recorded, including any questions that we get, so you can find the recordings in a couple of different places. So the first place you can find them is on the support site. So the support site is located by clicking on this question mark in the upper right-hand corner. And if you click on that question mark, it will bring you over to support.bniconnect.com. And you'll see first all of our upcoming webinars listed, and if you scroll down just a little bit, you'll see chapter training and documentation. In there, you'll see the list of recorded webinars. They are done month by month by month, so you can see them broken out. For example, if I click on September, you would see copies of all of these September webinars, including a copy of this particular webinar from last month. You can also go directly to our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/BNI Connect Global, and we have a ton of other content up there as well. So we have short little educational moments, 3 to 5 minute videos that you're welcome to use as learning experiences for your chapter. You can also share them with other members. You'll also see the list of webinars. There's October's webinars and September's, as well as a ton of other content, such as pre-release walkthroughs and guides and things like that. So let's take a look at today. Today, again, we're going to talk about the social media aspect of BNI Connect. Before we get too far deep into the social media aspect, I'd like to let everybody know everybody has a profile on BNI Connect, and one of the things about interacting with other people in BNI Connect is you do want to take some time to make sure that your profile is completely filled out. So you can check to see what your profile looks like to other people by scrolling down to the footer of the website, this red area at the bottom, and clicking on the button that says, the link that says Profile. And if I click on Profile, this will bring me to a view of my public social media, my BNI Connect profile and what it looks like. So I can see here all of my roles that I have. I can also see all of my information here. So these are the things that people will see when they are looking at your profile. I can also check out my bio tab and make sure that all my credibility building information is filled out. People can see your connections, so all the people that you're connected to in BNI Connect. They can see your testimonials. You do have a photo gallery of up to 20 photos that you can share with people. The social media discussion groups that you can participate in, and people can see your training history. So definitely take some time to fill out all of this information. If you're looking to fill out this information, the place to do that is, if I go back to the home screen here, 2 places to go. You can either click the options button up here and click on My Account, or click on the link that says Update Profile My BNI Page. That will take you into the back end of your profile, and you can go through all of these tabs, upload a photo or a logo, make sure that all of your contact information is correct. You would like to go through your member-to-member sharing settings to make sure that you're sharing your information with people. Your bio tab, which has your bio, commercials, gains profile, and tops profile. And finally, your training history. And if something's missing on your training history, you do need to talk with your regional office. I'd like to just take a moment, though, to concentrate on this front tab, the first tab here, which is the main profile tab. Now, when you're on this tab, take some time to make sure that you put in some good keywords. As I'm going to show you in a minute, when you're searching for people in BNI Connect, that most of the time, people aren't going to know your name. They're going to be looking for usually a category. That's where the keywords come into place. And the keywords help people find you when they don't know your name. So you do want to make sure you go through and come up with some good keywords for your business. Now, of course, it's going to search by name. It's going to search by your address field. It's also going to search against your industry and classification. However, this is a way to supplement that. So somebody might not be looking for computer services if they're looking for me, but they might be looking for computer repair. So I will make sure that I have repair in my keywords. I can also make sure I have Windows or consulting and software, things like that, that people will search for. Other tips for this is, let's say that you are a bookkeeper, for example. So you may want to have bookkeeper as well as the word bookkeeping, so that they find you for both permutations of that word. Another strategy here is to put location-based words in here. For example, Rhode Island. I am a member here in Rhode Island. If you know anything about Rhode Island, it is a really, really, really small state. It's only about 20 miles wide by 40 miles high. That means that most people that do business in Rhode Island end up doing business over the borders in the neighboring states of Connecticut and Massachusetts. So I want to make sure that I'm found if people search for, let's say, computer repair in Massachusetts. I'd like my name to show up in that search, or computer repair in Connecticut. So that works with towns and areas. And for example, if you're in California and you have an office in Los Angeles, you might want to be found in other counties besides just Los Angeles. So let's take a look at how do we find other people in BNI Connect. Now, the way to find other people, there's a couple of ways to do that. The easiest way is to click on this magnifying glass up here in the top right-hand corner. That's the search function that will help you search across the BNI directory. The other way to do that is to click on Network Connections to go into your Connections interface, or click on My Network. Now, the My Network tab here has all the different social media functions on it, the connections, the groups, your regionally shared documents, testimonials, your regional events, and there is a messaging system within BNI Connect as well. So while I'm here, I could click on Add to add somebody to my connections, or again, I can click on this magnifying glass in the upper right-hand corner. This will bring you to a search. So this basic search will allow you to type anything you'd like. Down here at the bottom, it will let you know what it's searching against. It's searching against keywords, name, profession, product, service, company name, address, city, state, email, and telephone number. So let's say that, the easiest thing to do, if I know somebody's name, so for example, Sumitra, who's been on these webinars, I'm going to do a search. And hopefully I spelled that correctly. So if I do a search by name, it should come up with an exact match here. I can see. I can click on the name, and that will open up the profile. So I can see Sumitra's picture here. I can see his business. I can see his industry. I can see all about him and decide whether or not I would like to connect with him. And if I do, I can click this button that says Add Sumitra to my connections. I can then customize a message if I'd like to, and I can go ahead and click thank you for being on the webinar today. and yesterday too, and click Submit. This will send him a connection request, letting him know that I would like to connect with him. He then has the opportunity to accept or reject that request. Notice that once I send a connection request, the option is no longer there. Once I'm done looking through the profile, I can then close this tab and return to my original search. Now, you probably aren't always going to know the other person's name, so you may be searching for categories, and BNI is a great way to be able to utilize other member services, especially when, for example, you might be traveling. I know I'm going to be going to California in November to go to the International BNI Conference. While I'm out there, let's say I need somebody to pick me up from the airport, or I'd like to get a massage while I'm out there, or I'd like to go visit some relatives or something like that. I could do a search for, let's say, limo, or let's say transportation in California. And I can find people that might be able to provide transportation services in that area. I could look then at maybe what city they're in, and of course I can click through, take a look at somebody's profile, and see if I can connect with them. Unfortunately, they're not sharing a phone number, so I won't be able to call them directly, but I could check out their website because they are sharing that information and possibly utilize their services. Now, that also works, for example, if you happen to have somebody that you might be maybe an aunt or an uncle or a cousin in Texas that needs their computer fixed. Why not look for somebody in BNI? You know, we are a global network, and the great thing about BNI is we know that every chapter around the world is following the same giver's gain philosophies. They have a membership committee, so people in the chapter tend to have better credibility than simply finding somebody on Google. Now, there's also an advanced search. If you click this link up here at the top, this helps you to filter. If you're coming back with a lot of different search results, this can help you to narrow that down a little easier, especially for people that might have very common names or very common industries, or let's say you're looking for just somebody in a specific country that you'd like to connect with. So, for example, if I'm just looking for somebody in the United Kingdom that does, let's say, travel services or transportation services, I can do a search there and come back with specific results here. So I can see all the people that do transportation just in the United Kingdom. Once you've started searching and connecting with people, you do need to go and accept the connection requests of people that have sent you a request. And we do that through the Connections interface. So we can go back to the My Network page and click on Manage under Connections. We could also click on Network Connections, and that'll bring us to the same place. Now, connecting with people gives you the advantage of really creating your own personal BNI address book. And all the people that you're connected with will appear in your Connections address book. By default, you will be connected to all of the people in your chapter. So the connections to your chapter are managed automatically. As people join your chapter, you will be automatically connected to them. As people leave your chapter, you'll be automatically disconnected from them. If I click on somebody's name, I then see a lighter version of their profile that has all their contact information. So I could call them, I could go to their Facebook page or email them right from here. I could also send them an internal message. I could ask them for a testimonial. I could give them a testimonial. I could view their full profile, or I can remove them from my connections. Now, when people start sending you connection requests, you'll find those down here in the Received Requests folder. And I can see that I have 6 pending requests. Now, if I'm not sure who the people are, I can click on their name in order to look at their profile first. So if I'd like to look at Colin's profile here, I can click on Colin's name. It will open up his profile. I can take a look through this first if I'd like to, in order to make sure that I know him, like him, trust him, and want to connect with him. I could also, if they sent me a message along with it, I could read the message that was sent. If I have a number of connections, I can select all and choose to connect to all of those people at once, or I could do them individually. I'm going to select all and connect to all of these people. Now, giving somebody a testimonial, that is also done through your connection here. So you would do that by, let's say, clicking on somebody's name. And from here, you would give that person a testimonial. All you need to do is to type out the testimonial and click Submit, and that will then appear on their profile. Now, if you'd like to see the testimonials that other people have given you would do that by clicking on the Testimonials button up here. You could also go back to the home screen, of course. Make sure you're on the My Network tab and click on Manage under Testimonials. And a third way to get there is you can go to Network Testimonials. Once you get to the testimonials, if you click on one of the testimonial names, you could read what they had to say about you. If you'd like to hide this testimonial from your profile, you can uncheck the box to display this testimonial. That will hide it from your profile. Or you can remove that testimonial. You can also review any testimonials that you have given to other people. One of the other great benefits of BNI Connect is that once you start connecting with people, there's a great way to have global discussions, and that's the discussion groups in BNI Connect. It really is a way to connect with people on a deeper level and to also possibly have referral relationships with other people in BNI Connect. Now, there are a ton of groups out there, and a lot of them are very, very active. We can get there by going to My Network and clicking on Manage under Groups. Of course, you can always get there by also going to Network Groups, and this will take us into the Groups interface. So they are sorted by the most recent posts, and we can see some of the more active ones up front here. So there's one here for BNI Business in France, financial professionals. This group from the founder, I highly recommend you go and take a look at that group. It is an opportunity for you to have a conversation directly with Dr. Ivan Misner. So if you'd like to check out what a group is saying, what they're doing, just click on the name of the group. You would then see all of the discussion threads within the group. You could click on one of those and see what everybody is talking about. If you would like to join that group in order to participate in the conversation, just click the button that says Join Group. You'll also then receive notifications by email with that group activity. You can scroll through all the groups individually by clicking on the pages, or you can always search for a group using this magnifying glass. For example, if I'd like to look for all of the groups created by Dr. Misner, I would type in Creator, Meisner, and click Search. And here I'd see the 3 groups, 2 of them by Dr. Meisner, Why BNI and From the Founder, and then also one created by Beth Meisner, the BNI Foundation. To switch over to all the groups that you are participating in, click the button that says My Groups, and that will take you into your list of groups. Here you can manage them or participate in them. You can also create up to 7 of your own groups in BNI Connect. So if you'd like to start a conversation and invite people to partake in your conversation, you can do that by clicking on Add Group. You just need to give the group a name, what type of group it's going to be. Now, an open group is going to be one that anybody can view and find and participate in. An invite-only group is going to be a hidden group. That means that you as the owner and any moderators that you invite to be a moderator for the group can ask people to join that group. So they have to be invited into the group. A members can invite is a hybrid of the two. It will still be hidden, but anybody that then becomes a part of the group can then invite their friends to join the group. Type up a description for the group so people know what you will be talking about. And you can then invite your connections. Once you submit that group, the group will then be created. Once you've made your group, you're going to want to make sure you do some posting in that group. So here's a previous group I created. I could then add a new topic, for example. And we could start a new discussion thread. So that's the connections, the groups, and the testimonials in BNI Connect. What I'd like to do is to open this up to any questions and invite you to ask any questions about these social media contents of BNI Connect. Let's see, Sumitra says, what is the key to make your group more popular? I would say that the first thing that you want to make sure you're doing is having relevant conversations in your group. So depending on what you're doing in your group or what you're creating your group for, you want to always make sure that you're participating in it. Groups that aren't generating any activity, obviously, are probably going to wither away. Any group, by the way, that does stay completely inactive for more than 120 days will be removed from BNI Connect automatically. But making sure that, again, that you're relevant about the topics. For example, there is a group, one of the people in my region created a group called the BNI Growth Coordinators Group. So the Growth Coordinator is a position in BNI that is in a chapter that always wants to be helping the group to grow. So there's some specific trainings and some techniques that they're always talking about in that group. And they've generated quite a bit of activity by being able to share links to documents and things like that from within that group. Dr. Meisner's groups is one of the more active groups, and he's always sharing his newest podcast or his newest video or other things that he has been creating over the years, and also answering questions. So does that help? Excellent. Ken says, thank you for the information. The hidden group option may be a great way for power teams to communicate on the occasions where face-to-face meeting is not possible. Very true. It's a great way for Here's one other example that I heard was a membership committee created a group for their chapter so that they could have their membership committee discussions through there without having to send emails all over the place. But that was a hidden group, and only the membership committee of the chapter was invited to become part of that particular group. I happen to have a group on here called the BNI Connect webinars. The purpose of that group is simply just to be able to make announcements. So it's not really a discussion group as much as one that people join if they would like to get reminders about upcoming BNI Connect webinars. So I have quite a few director consultants and executive directors that are part of that group that when they get my reminder, they're able to then forward it out to other people. All right, what other questions? Do I have any more questions? All right, while you're thinking up any last-minute questions, what I'd like to do is to just say thank you for being here today. A couple of reminders. Again, this is being recorded. It will be made available on the support site by clicking on the question mark, which will take you to support.bniconnect.com. And you will find it probably within the next couple of days in the October 2014 webinar recording. You'll also be able to find it on YouTube/BNI Connect Global. And I would also love it if you could give us a like on Facebook, facebook.com/BNI Connect Global. We do webinar announcements and reminders and updates and tips and tricks and all sorts of things up there as well. So I'd love it if you'd give us a like. Kathleen says, aloha, she's participating from Hawaii. Excellent, thank you so much. Do we receive an email when a connection request is made, or do we need to check on BNI Connect? That is actually a preference that you can set. So go to your profile, go to Options, My Account, and click on the gear, the Settings tab, and at the bottom you'll see your email options. Now if you're participating in groups, you definitely want to make sure that you choose your preference for when you'd like to get emails about groups. If you are running a group, if you have created a group, I highly recommend that you do every time a new post is added. That will help you participate in the conversation. And then down below, you'll see an option for forward my connection requests to my email address. So if you have yes selected here, you will get an email notification to your email. Does that help, Kathleen? All right. And I will also share the YouTube link per request. I'm going to put that in the chat as well, in the chat window, and you should see that there. All right, and finally, a good referral for me. If you found today's webinar helpful, if you liked the format, if you got some good content out of it, I would love it if you would invite one of your chapter members, fellow chapter members, or if you're a director consultant, the people in your region, to one of the upcoming webinars. The next webinar, we're going to be going through some of the tools and reports in BNI Connect. And that one is going to be tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, so an hour later than now. And we're going to follow that up next week with a couple of webinars for the visitor portion of BNI Connect, as well as maintaining your chapter website. And then we're going to do the whole series all over again in November and December, so take a look for those to be posted shortly. All right, excellent, everyone. So thank you so much for being here, and I look forward to seeing you on a future webinar. Happy connecting, everyone.